step. Hey, welcome back to the Fun and Adventures in Sanding and Boat Building channel, folks. I know it's been a while. I promised to updates. It's been probably 4 weeks since we did the last one. And there was a little bonus one we threw in there when Lori and I got the forward cabin all glassed in, which was a pretty big milestone for us. Anyways, we haven't been slacking. I think I've worked probably 6 days a week, 7-8 hours a day since then, and productivity has definitely gone up with Lori helping out. We've done some fun stuff, and if you stick around to the end, we'll do a complete recap of the stuff that we've done. One of the challenges I had was with the main cabin ceiling, or deckhead, whatever you want to call it. Not a dickhead, a deckhead. It was a dickhead. I do things right because I had to do it like 6 times because I have no idea what I'm doing, and try to figure out the best way to do it. So anyways, I originally planned to have the deck head up and do all the wiring and installation from above, but I finally figured out that that's just not going to work. So I've had to turn around and re-engineer the ceiling lining or the deck head to be removable, and that's put the old screws in the old noodle here. But anyways, I think I got it figured out, and what that's going to allow us to do is work on getting the cabin top on, and that's what these 2 panels are. You just saw me haul up onto the deck and sand the ends off, and I had to scab on an extra 1.5 inches to each side of the panel because it wasn't wide enough to go all the way over the sides of the boat, and I want to have a nice little overhang there, so that took a couple extra days. Some fiberglass and epoxy, as you can imagine, but it's not a big deal. So yeah, there you are. I mean, we've been working away like crazy. Every day we try and do something, and we've been learning new stuff. The interior linings for the main cabin are going to be cherry veneer plywood, and anybody that's been following along on Facebook will have seen fabricating those panels, laminating the cherry to them, put the finish on them, and we did a lot of tests in between because neither of us had stained or varnished, or not varnished, but varathaned the cherry veneer plywood, which really isn't plywood. It's cherry veneer on the outside, and it's like high density fiberboard on the inside. So that caused me some concerns because when it gets wet, it's going to swell up. So we're going to put in extra measures to hopefully ensure that no water actually gets into that laminate, because it will just totally screw it right up beyond repair. There's no way to fix it. So anyways, the other challenge we've had was I made a poor choice in insulation, but I can live with it. We'll do what we can to deal with it. So yeah, I guess I've been working on some sketch diagrams for wiring and lighting, and where all the major electrical components are going to go, where all the major plumbing components are going to go, and then we'll be moving ahead on that, because once the cabin top's on, I can tarp the boat and heat it. So we should be able to extend our boat building season probably into November with requiring very little heat, because this tent or bow shed or whatever you want to call it, doesn't offer very much insulation value, although it's a great greenhouse in the summer when the sun's shining, because it quite often, even on moderate days, gets up into the 40-degree range in here, which is, I don't know what, in the 90s Fahrenheit. Anyways, maybe even 100, I don't know. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead, flip these up on top, get them lined up, and I'm not going to screw them down for now. We have to work out a plan to fix the panels on the center line of the boat, and there's a beam that runs right down the center, and we'll probably glue it and screw it right along the center, and then we can, as we can work out gluing all of the frames and the longitudinal beams, we can bring that side down, glue it, screw it, and then do the same on the other side. Hopefully that'll work out. You know, we've never done this before, so this is going to be a lot of fun. The other thing I wanted to say is, I think it was the right decision to walk away from making YouTube videos for a while. It's taken a tremendous amount of weight and stress off my shoulders, and it was just remarkable, the change. And I was able to come out every morning and just go to work and knock something out and off to another job in the little workshop tent and work on something there, and it's bouncing around all over the place. And Lori would come out and she'd help with the fiberglassing and the staining, the sealing of the plywood and the staining, and she actually tried her hand at using the Varathane finish yesterday on a test panel. That Varathane that I chose is an exterior grade polyurethane, water-based, with UV inhibitors and mold suppressing agents and stuff like that. So we thought that was a better choice, being in a marine environment, than a regular spray bomb urethane or anything like that. And I'll throw a picture up here. The finish came out absolutely beautiful. And what we were looking for was a match to our cherry cupboards in our kitchen for color and everything else, and that was spot on. Like, the products we chose, I spent a lot of time researching, and I think I made good choices. And virtually I'm idiot-proof. You know, when anything that I'm involved in, it's got to be pretty much idiot-proof. So there you have it. So I'm just going to flip these up, get them all marked out, lined up. Oh, I have to trim fiberglass off the end, but yeah, that's basically where we are. Thanks for coming back. We appreciate it. I hope it hasn't been too long. All you guys that are, you know, jonesing for me sanding, you sanding masochists, I did a little bit, and that's all you're going to see for this one. So thanks for hanging in. These sheets are now 100 inches wide. At least they're not as heavy as a half-inch sheet. I never would have got a half-inch sheet up here myself, that's for sure. Stay. Just have to mark out this one. And I don't have to worry about falling in the big hole for the moment. Oh, I guess I put my ruler away. Close enough. Ooh. Now I have to worry about falling in the big hole. I'm just marking the center line of the support frames while I'm up here. Because I know at some point in time I'll go looking to mark those for screws. So that's about it for this phase of the project right now. I need two hands to get those lined up, so Lori's not here at the moment. So I'm going to go around and give you an update on what we've done and get you all caught back up to speed. So I've had to jury rig a few lights. It's pretty dark in here now that the roof's on. But anyways, what I'm doing is making up these panels for the deck head to give it that board and batten kind of look. If I can get this straightened out here. These will go ahead and butt together. This isn't actually one of the pieces. This big box store lumber is crap. Found that out fairly early on, but weren't invested. So anyways, I plan on taking all these down and sanding and filling them and fixing these little defects and stuff. And in order to make the whole deck head removable, I've assembled panels of 5 and 6 together, and I'll be able to remove the battens that hold them up and drop one section down at a time. Or there goes my light. Stepped on the switch. So that's kind of the plan. will look something sort of like this when it's done. These lines will all be painted, all these little defects will be fixed. And that took quite a while to figure out how to make those, make them look half decent. It was days and days. Tried 3 or 4 different ways of attaching them and things like that, and finally realized that they have to be removable. So these independent panels here float on top. There will be insulation and wiring and lights and all that crap in there, so that's sort of the plan for that. What else do we do? Yeah, so there's this little cleat detail. That will be stained probably a dark cherry, so it will contrast between the white of the deck head. These plywood beams will be sanded, filled, and faired, and they'll be painted white. This section here will also have the deck head installed. That's a fiddly bit. I like putting off the fiddly bits till the end because I hate doing fiddly bits, but eventually it'll have to get done. The wall panels, anyone that's followed along on Facebook will have seen the assembly of these panels, and I'll put up a few pictures here. This is closed cell foam. It's got a mylar side and a plastic side, and I think I should have taken the plastic off, but anyways, I used 3M Super 77, which we did a test and it seemed to be the best at holding. So once these panels are finished, they will be installed with epoxy glue. So epoxy glue, according to ChatGPT, seems to be the best at gluing mylar to any sort of substrate. So anyways, there's 2 panels that we'll go have a look at in the tent, and these 2 large panels, this one doesn't have the window cut out yet, will be done next, stained and finished. And the 2 that are currently off the boat over here will be installed first. We needed to get the finish on them and get them all sealed up because we can't really leave this material naked and exposed in the boat shed over the winter because of the condensation. And this stuff isn't actually plywood. It's a cherry veneer, which is very thin, and there's a high density fiberboard center. So if it gets wet, this is going to swell up, you know, like a baseball landing on the top of your head. We're looking at options for what we're going to do for painting the cockpit deck and this aft bulkhead. There's quite a bit of work that's going to be needed there. That'll have to wait till next year, but anyways, we're leaning towards a Raptor liner. Thanks, Ross, for turning us on to that. We're going to do our homework and maybe invest in some of that in the spring. So I'm out here in our messy little workshop tent, and been a lot of activity going on in here over the last little while, and we've got a new tool. My poor old Mastercraft table saw was just not able to make a straight cut anymore, so I had to break down and invest in a new table saw, and it is a dream. It's a beautiful little saw. Of course, my old Mastercraft was probably 35 years old. Certainly didn't owe me anything, and yeah, had to go. So here's some of the panels we're working on. These will be the first 2 that will be installed, and they've got 2 coats of the Varathane diamond wood finish. It's great stuff to work with. Virtually idiot proof, like I said. I really like it. Even Lori's tried her hand at it. She likes it. So these 2 will get 1 more coat here in a few minutes, and then they'll be ready to install. That was Raffy in the background. And meow. So there you have it. Like again, it was a lot of work. We had to figure it out. We had to laminate them, all the panels. There was 6 that were made so far. 2 on the aft bulkhead, 2 on each side. All of them have a window in them, so there was a lot of offcuts. If I can reach over here. It's a little dusty. But that's my first test piece. And it was stained according to the instructions and 3 coats of the polyurethane. And we took it in and matched it up with our kitchen cupboards, and it was absolutely perfect. But there were some hiccups along the way. This one has the wrong side out, so there's a little bit of blotchiness, but most of this will be hidden by the settee or the galley. That one's got the grain going in the wrong direction. Should have been turned that way. But yeah, you live and you learn. That's not a big deal. I've made more expensive mistakes. And yeah, let's go see what Rafi's doing. Rafi! Meow! How you doing, monkey? Want to be on YouTube, Rafi? Okay. You be a star, Rafi. Okay, there you have it, folks. Thanks for hanging in. We appreciate each and every one of you. And you know, the usual YouTube stuff. Click the bell, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, all that kind of stuff. The updates won't be as frequently, but hopefully they'll be more like this, a little less informal, not a whole lot of editing, just get the message out that we're continuing to move forward. Cheers.